Hello, beauties. I trust you are excellent. This is Radiance from Lighthouse Affects, and we are represented. We're in the studio here, Silver Birch Studios in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Fantastic. I'm so grateful to be here. We're not quite all the way up and running yet. We're kind of like, we're just finishing off the last little details around the outside and then on the inside and life in general. What a grand adventure. And I'm really grateful to be here. Lizzy is going to be joining me in just a moment. We were just like, oh my gosh, I love you. And so we were all crying. We're like, lots of like spittle and drool. And it was adorable. But then she was like, I got to go like get freshened up because this isn't working right now. So Lizzy will be here in just a moment. On behalf of Spirituality Gone Wild, this is such a great channel, and I love all the people that I work with on this channel. So many great, like just compelling and fully immersive experiences of listening in with like the whole channel of people. So I just want to give a big shout out to Spirituality Gone Wild, and feel free to check them out. I do have a new course that's available online, and you are welcome to join me. I'm also doing some Trello workshops coming up, and I'm also, I just have a couple of workshops coming up, and then I have a 33-day workshop where you get to like kind of interact with me every morning, like, hello, and that could be fun. I'm usually pretty vibrant in the mornings. So without further ado, I am going to begin, as I generally do, with a song and with some lyrics. Because the show, and really this whole studio, this whole campus is built around the idea. It's really cute. I was just looking at myself. I'm like, I should be looking at the camera, not at myself. Go look up there. So anyway, this whole campus is really built around this idea of kind of going the opposite direction of where recording industries were prior to these days that are upon us, right? So for me, what I find most compelling is this idea of emotional health and really helping musicians to resource themselves. So the studio was built in the mindset of getting us to the last 10%. So everybody else in the music industry is kind of like at the 90% level, or working in that 90% level. We're interested, and we're really like grouping all of the ways that we work together into the area of that last 10%. Like, what are we doing as musicians and as producers in order to really help shift the entertainment community, so that we don't have to, so that if our fans are dealing with suicide, or they've lost loved ones, or they're suffering from depression, or just suffering in general, or they're going like through financial ups and downs, we really wanted to curate this whole campus so that musicians, fans, and producers could come out and have a studio that is at that top level, that of industry standard, that last 10%, and also to cultivate a campus and a community of people where everybody can come out and support each other and make it like this place that is known in the globe, where if you're a musician, if you're a producer, if you really have a desire to connect with your fans and help them to shift their own lives, like bring resources into those communities for fulfillment and then for overflow. That's really what this whole campus and this whole vision has been about. It has been such a journey, just emotionally, to show up here and to work in this lane. Keep Thanks, Steve. It's classic. Thank you, love. So it's just this last 10%, like this year has really, I've been married 22 years. I grew up in a really big Catholic family, and I'm really grateful I grew up in a really big Catholic family, because it really taught me to, I don't know. I don't know if people, like, if you're an only child, I've never experienced that, but I really had to learn how to find my voice and how to have disagreements with people. And like, to give you an example, my cousins, like my uncle and his family, they, another huge family, for sports, they used to wake up the boys And then the boys would put on boxing gloves, and then they'd go out, like when all the old guys were drunk, they'd all get on their boxing gloves, and then they'd go out and beat the hell out of each other. That's what the kids did in order to entertain the adults, to give you a mindset of where my family came from. And I see this so often in community, right? Like what we're going through in order to beat each other into like submission, like, ah, and just this emotional drain, this emotional, like, did you make it? Did you make it? Like, and then by the end of people just in this, how unnecessary that is. Then it is necessary to get to the point of exhaustion. And then like finally for me, I looked around, I'm like, there's got to be another way. There's got to be another way in life. Come in. Yeah. So this is Lizzy Tremaine, which most of you know already because she's around a lot. So producer, musician, yeah, awesome.
A little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. So I'm just going to read this, and this is from a band called The Call, and
it's, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the song is called Let the Day Begin, which I really want to cover after I heard this. Okay, so here's to the babies of a brand new world. Here's to the beauty of the stars. Here's to the travelers on the open road. Here's to the dreamers in the bars. Here's to the teachers in the crowded rooms. Here's to the workers in the fields. Here's to the preachers of the sacred words. Here's to the drivers of the wheel. Here's to you, my little loves, with blessings from above. Now let the day begin. And then that repeats. And the idea for me is I've driven through this country so often, like back and forth, and I've been, you'll probably want to come in the camera.
Oh, I'm like not paying attention to detail at all.
Look at you.
Hi.
And so after driving through this country and touring overseas, I recognize like it hasn't mattered where I go. I'm just always in this place of compelled to love and adore humans. And all of us, like finding the commonality of all of us, because humans are so, so beautiful. And really that's what we're building here. So that's why the song really called to me. I'll continue here. It says, here's to the doctors and their healing work. Here's to the loved ones in their care. Here's to the strangers on the streets tonight. Here's to the lonely everywhere. Here's to the wisdom from the mouths of babes. Here's to the lions in the cage. Here's to the struggle of the silent war. Here's to the closing of the age. And so I'd like to know, like, how does that speak to you, the audience? And recognizing how often we get into this place of, and maybe you can talk about this because you talk about this in lyrics a lot. What are the key components that you find solace in when you're writing, and how humbled you become?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when I'm writing and building, I'm not just thinking of myself. I'm thinking of other people, and I'm thinking of different stories. And not only that, but just like, what is this going to accomplish? Is this going to resonate with someone I care about, or is this going to resonate with me? Because it's just like when you're creating, it doesn't have to be about self. It can be about the people around you and people that you care about. So it really just depends. But usually it comes from a place of inspiration and, curiosity of where it's going to go as a team. So I'm trying to look out for everybody.
Yeah. And what has brought you like to a place of humbleness when you're writing? Like, what are your subject materials where like, or
like a humbleness of like
the real, the raw, the like, what brings you into those places?
If it touches somebody.
Okay.
Yeah. Because like if it touches someone, then that means I'm doing my job right.
Yeah.
If it's not touching someone, if it doesn't resonate with them, I don't think I'm doing my job as an artist very good. It needs to at least touch somebody. Or like, because an artist's job is like, you're supposed to create for yourself, but when someone can take your song, even if it's not about what your story is, but they can apply it to their story, that's really important and powerful and humbling.
Yeah. And I know that, like, because I've seen like fans talk to you and people are like, that really touched me in a
Mhm.
time in my life. So can you talk about any of those?
Yeah, actually, even this actually dates back to like high school. I don't know why that like made me think of high school, but my friend had a miscarriage, and to cope with it, we actually went into the piano room and we wrote about it.
Mm,
And I wrote it with her. So it was like it was helping her grieve, and it was helping, me be there for her as a friend.
mm,
So there was that connection there, and then like she ended up listening to it over and over and over again to help her cope with it
yeah,
because that was her song to her baby.
right. And what I find really intriguing is, how often I know for me, like I did all of these soundtracks, right? I was like an 80s person, 70s, 80s. So I would make all these tapes for these friends of mine
Mhm.
that were going out, and going to be driving long distances and
For
stuff.
tour?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so like the idea of like, here's a tape and I want you to think of me in these locations.
Mm.
And
That's cool.
it is cool.
Yeah. Like, it is.
And it would be neat to do like a whole album series around like Route 66. Like
Oh my gosh,
the
yeah.
different stops that you make. And then like putting notes on the album of, if you're here, this is the song for you.
Oh,
You
that's
know?
really cool.
Or
Yeah.
but then mapping that out in life, I think that like this connection and this commitment to fans, I was looking over here at myself, and then Steve's like, hey, if you look at the camera, we can look at you.
I mean, it's about connection. We're connecting right now. I haven't seen her in like 2 months.
Oh, this
Sorry,
was
Steve.
when I was talking.
Oh.
Yeah, this is when I was talking to myself, and I'm
Oh.
looking at me. So that's why I was laughing about that.
Oh, okay.
So what I was thinking about tonight would be to like create an album and talk about when you hit this moment in your life, I want you to hear this song.
Mm.
When you are in your like, and naming and taking time to like think about that as you're in your moment and being
Like a theme, kind of?
yeah, the theme.
For a feeling?
Yep. And then
Okay.
but like the map of your life in one series of events.
Mm.
Like, this is for all of you who are feeling isolated tonight.
Mm.
And then this is for all of you who triumph with who are triumphant in courage.
Yeah.
This is for all
That's
of
like
you.
what Pink does, kind of, because she talks about like this is for the out, or no, wait, who am I thinking of? This is for like the outcasts. This is for the underdogs.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she like kind of says that.
Yeah.
And so, automatically,
yeah,
people that feel like they're an outcast or feel like the underdog in whatever situation, like maybe they're in school and they're being bullied.
Yeah.
It resonates with them.
Yeah.
And that's their anthem for when they feel that way.
It's interesting to me because I was a teacher for a long time. I was a sex teacher, sex ed, and not a sex teacher.
I was like, should we clarify on this?
I was a sex ed teacher, and
Oh
I
my
learned
God.
a lot. I did not teach a lot. Actually, the thing taught, I remember because it was a rough school,
Yeah.
and I went in there like
Oh my
thinking that I'm
gosh.
teaching, and the only thing that I taught was that you could get STIs in your mouth, and in addition to like everywhere,
Like
in other
bodily
places.
fluids.
Like anything that you can get,
Yeah.
you can get orally. And that was the first time that like people across the room that were like, what? Like that. They're like, no way. And so that's like every semester, that's the only thing that I feel like I actually brought to the table. Because
Wow.
everybody else they're like, oh, teacher, I got one. And I'm like, okay.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I learned a lot in that class. I don't know how much I taught. So
Wow.
so what I recognize is that the bullies, all of those people, the jocks, the prom queen, the like that whole group. And if you don't have that in the UK, it's like the people who, when they go to high school, it's the people who are well known and popular. They get like prom king, prom queen.
They don't have that in the UK?
No.
Oh, I did not know that.
And so what I was recognizing is because I didn't fit in with any one of those people, I was always like in all of them. I would kind of circulate and hang out with everybody.
Yeah.
And I would sit with the people like in their darkest nights.
Mm.
And they'd be like, I'm so alone and I'm so isolated and I don't know who my friends are. And I'm like, you are no different than anybody else
I know,
here.
isn't that crazy?
Yeah. And so like
I get that.
Yeah. And so your comments on like the people who are in this place of the jock, the loner, the like reaching out. And I'd also be interested in hearing like, what are your components to reach out of isolation, to get out of here as a musician and to get back into here? What do you do for that? It's kind of what we were talking about today. So yeah.
Well, taking a leap of faith within yourself, getting rid of self-doubt, and knowing that it's kind of like you have to take ownership a little bit, because in order to, it's like, honestly, it's kind of like I have an addiction and I'm recognizing that I have an addiction instead of saying like, I don't have an addiction. And then when you own to that, you start, it's just like a natural reward that happens, because then, you know, like, let's say for instance, you're getting rid of self-doubt, then all of a sudden you have the courage because you're getting, you know it's there, but you're kind of like accepting that it's there. And then you start taking that leap of faith, you know, even if it's doing something out of your comfort zone that you weren't able to do, and finding what gives you hope and light and gives you that sense of purpose.
Yeah.
So you naturally gravitate towards, you know, the resources and tools that you need to get in order to come back to your home.
Yeah. That lands with me. I was thinking about tonight about how I know that I'm in like my illness place, like my ailment, when I'm in fight mode. Like that's when I know
it's survival mode for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's like both. Like, it's like, I think those are cohesive, because survival and when you're in fight mode is like literally the same thing. You're fighting for your life, or you're fighting for your right for yourself.
Right.
Like your worth.
Right.
So
yeah. And it's intriguing to me because like I can, and let me know like if you feel this at times, but like there's this constriction that happens in my body. And I'm like, I used to have to talk myself down from somebody has to die.
Oh my gosh, maybe.
Like there were two ways that it was going to go. I had to die. That was like the suicidal voice was I have to die, or some part of me.
Like suicidal?
Oh yeah. Like I would be in this place of like, I have to die, or some part of me has to die. Right. Or somebody else has to die.
Oh my God.
That was like my fury.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know about boundaries. I didn't know about, and I wasn't drinking. I didn't use drugs. So my brain was just like on fire from self-protection. Right. And so it's intriguing because I know in interchanges for me, like I've started to learn how to not send a text and how to not send an email and how to breathe. And I'm like, have I breathed yet? Have I taken a breath?
Have you drank some water? Yeah. Have you gotten your body moving?
Right.
Yeah. Things like that. Self-care. Because when you self-care, you don't even want to do that. Some people do it with like yoga and meditation. Some people have company or people, like friends.
Yeah.
But that can lead to partying and stuff, which is also kind of like suppressing.
Yeah.
But everyone has their little niche to how they cope with that.
Yeah. And I was learning like, you know, the learning just to sit with it and sit with the uncomfortable. Like I'm so used to like everything else.
Yeah.
Like, let me go do something with this.
Yeah.
Instead of like sitting with it.
And dealing with it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard.
And sitting with it. And I'm
that's
like,
hard.
I don't know if I like all that. That doesn't feel very good.
I'm gonna advocate again. Yeah. I keep like, because I want to just like relax right here.
Right. There you go. Come on over. Okay. There you go. So that's like one of the pieces that I'm recognizing is like, and again, I'd love to hear from the audience. I'm sorry, like usually StreamYard lets us see all of the comments, and I know like I'll go through afterwards, but I promise you I will go through afterwards and I'll look at the comments. And I do adore you and thank you for writing things. I think you'd have to find us on Lighthouse Affects on Facebook in order to get to us, unless you know of another way that it's coming through tonight.
So you're saying you don't see the comments?
Usually you see the comments, but something has shifted recently, and so you're not seeing all the comments. And I went through, and people are like, hello, did you get me? I'm like, I'm not ignoring you.
I can look on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I'm just not. So something that's compelling to me is this idea of sitting in the space. And one thing, like a good friend of mine was talking about, I know quite a few people have gone and done this. It's this. Oh, thank you.
That way we can see the comments.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, once again. Is this better?
It's over there. Yeah, you're good.
Perfect. Yay.
So something that came up for me was the idea that, or that I've witnessed, is where you go through like a whole day and you don't, like, if you have an itch, you don't scratch it. You just.
As I'm itching.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. It's like my necklace is bothering me. I'm going to keep doing that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's been bothering me all night. Like the back part of it.
So it's supposed to be like just observing where the irritations are. And so for me, I'm like, I got a lot of irritations.
Mine is my jaw. And you always have to tell me, like, unclench your jaw, Lizzy. And I'm like, yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
I like.
Or like it is, and like just starting to recognize, because even today I was recognizing, like, I was standing in line, and everybody's doing this, right? Like looking at their phones, and people are like right there. I'm like, we haven't even seen each other in a year, humans.
Aww.
We should put down our phones and say hello. And so
everyone's addicted.
I was so like in this. It is an addiction. So I'm so in this place of like, I feel really awkward right now. Really awkward. And so I put down my phone and I got a GIMP story for you here, because this is an adult audience and it's funny.
Oh gosh.
But anyway, so I had I have the mask on, right?
Oh, yeah,
and so I'm like, oh, like that. And then I'm like, okay, that's, and the person's like, hello. Like, why are you talking to me?
People won't even talk to me if I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. They won't even they will not talk back to me, because I kind of did an experiment where I kind of was like in people's way when I was shopping.
Yeah.
And I was like, are they gonna like talk to me at all? Like, because usually what I was used to was, it's okay, no problem.
Right.
Nobody, no talking. Like,
right.
It's like no contact at all.
Right.
How dare you even speak to me?
Right.
With your mask on.
Right.
Like, I was like, okay.
Right.
Shut down. It's fine.
And so this idea of like reaching back into humanity, that's where I've been like this past week, is I'm like, come back.
Yes.
Let's not lose each other, you know? And so like the person at the store is like, hello, like that. I'm like, hi, you know? Like,
oh my God.
And so I'm really like drawn in by this. I'm really drawn in with these conversations of what is it that we're like. I mean, before I used to like know everybody in line, before these, especially, I knew everybody in line. By the time I got to the checkout, I was like, we're all friends here. We all know each other. She's about to have a great grandbaby. Like, that was like the conversation pieces. And I'll tell a GIMP story because it's funny.
Tell it.
Okay. So I was at a club in San Francisco, of course, because where else?
You went to clubs? I'm definitely going to hear that story. I need to know.
Oh my gosh, I told this like in
San Francisco?
No, I went to church in a group. When I first moved here, I was in a mom's group. And
I'm thinking like a club.
No, I went to a club. Sorry, we were transcending the conversation here. Okay. I'll stick to one first. Okay. So I'm in San Francisco. I'm with some friends of mine. I just gone through a really big breakup. And these friends of mine are like, you should come to this club with us. And I'm like, okay, awesome. And they're like, it's a bondage club. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't even care anymore, because I was just in this place and it was enormous. It holds like easily 1,000+ people, easily. And so, but I don't know what, usual clubs. Anyway, it was a really big place, really big like warehouse place.
So they were all just dressed like
no, most everybody's dressed like just in jeans and t-shirts, and then there's like a bondage area. Okay. So I'm dancing and I'm having a great time. I've got like a dress on, and I'm like just super focused in my spot, and that was my territory, and the dance floor was packed, and I'm like, this is so outside of my comfort zone. I'm not even going to look up. For 1 second, I looked up, and it seemed like the Red Sea parted of people, and from like the only thing that I never wanted to see in my life, I saw. And so like it was like I'm looking that way, and I look up, and it was and for any of you out there that this is your thing, great. It just wasn't my thing, and I was new to all of that. So anyway, it was a game.
What?
Ladder face, glass eyes, zipper mouth.
And
and so like the guy kind of like shuffles over to me, and then he's like, "Hey, you want to dance?" Like that, and I'm like, I don't want to dance. And I love these people, but I'm like, I just wanted to be me, looking down at the floor. And when I looked up and I saw that, I was frightened for my life for a moment. And so it's really funny because I didn't know much about that community at the time. I was brand new to it, and I'm like, okay. After a long time, I got to know people, and I'm like, you all do you, however that looks for you. Good job.
Wow.
But it was really funny because I was like, I don't even know what to do. And that's what it reminds me of. All of these masks, it reminds me of like a BDSM club, because I feel awkward, and I don't know how to act around people. And then I feel so embarrassed. See, my face is like so red right now because it all reminds me of like,
that makes sense.
Weird bondage stuff. So hey, come on in, drummer dude. Yeah.
Wait, is he playing drums?
Yeah, he's about to play drums.
Oh, you're about to play drums?
I am.
So,
like, I am?
Come and say hello to people for 1 second. Just pop your head in and say hello right there. You got to squash down.
Hello.
That's my dude. That's one of my oldest dudes. That's Harrison.
Nice to meet everyone.
So, I'll be with you in a minute. We're just finishing up the show.
All right.
Okay. So, anyway, this is like, so this is like, more ways that society can start to just move through the awkward and move through the uncomfortable and start reaching out to one another again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it truly takes a vulnerable heart and leaning in. And so one of the things that we just want to encourage this week is like, say hello to people. Like this.
Or say thank you if they hold the door open for you. Yeah. I've had that happen too much recently too, where I'm like holding the door for them, and they're just like, it's just like little like robots, honestly, kind of. Yeah, I know, it's kind of freaky to say that.
Yeah.
But it's like just storming past me, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'll just hold the door open for you.
Yeah.
Usually you say thank you. Like, whatever. That's fine.
But it is an invitation for humans to start becoming more human with each other.
We got taught last year to be scared of human interaction.
Yep.
That's
Yep. And so that's really what I wanted to welcome this, and then I will close with this. Hey, Harrison, don't start drums yet, because I'll hear you.
You can hear me.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just talking loud.
Definitely could.
Yeah. Okay. So this song is, did you want to read it? It's the Muse one that you're just listening to. So this is Dig Down.
The one that made me cry?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I even looked at this is because I've literally been crying the whole day with them. Okay. I don't know if I can. Okay. Dig down, my muse. When hope and love has been lost and you fall to the ground, you must find a way. When the darkness descends and you're told it's the end, you must find a way. When God decides to look the other way and a clown takes the throne, we must find a way. Face the firing squad against all the odds. You will find a way. Dig down, dig down, dig down, and find faith. When you're close to the edge with a gun to your head, you must find a way. When friends are thin on the ground and they try to divide us, we must find a way. We have entered the fray, and we will not obey. We must find a way. dig down, and find faith. When they've left you for dead, dig down, and you can only see red. Dig down. You must find a way. Dig down, find faith. We won't let them divide. Dig down. We will never abide. Dig down. We will find a way.
Mm.
Wow, they are so good.
They are so
They're so good. I love Muse.
yeah.
And that song is really great if no one's heard it, so you should definitely listen.
That's a good one to check out. And as per usual, please drop us a line this week and let us know what is it that you're listening to. If you do find some musicians that you're like, hey, there's this great studio, they're doing some really wonderful works, you can contact Lizzy, you can contact me. Yeah, Silver Birch Studios right there. You can find us on Facebook. And let this get out to people.
Alexa?
Oh, yeah. That's
okay.
funny.
Can we put it up?
Yeah, we can put it up. Okay. This is, Lizzy was like, oh my gosh, tonight.
Well, Steve said you could say, Alexa, lights dim. Okay.
Did I hear you? I don't know that it heard you.
Alexa, change to blue.
Sorry. What's your time?
Lights. Alexa, change to green. Alexa, change to green. Lights.
Did it work? All right. So there you go. That's some cool stuff that's happening right there. I love you. Yeah, wherever you are in your life right now, if you're in isolation, reach out. Let's get some community going. Here, Spirituality Gone Wild, we have come visit the website for Spirituality Gone Wild. You can meet all kinds of wonderful people. Yeah, so reach out. We're here. You're not alone. And I adore you. And I will see you next week. You know, with God's blessings anyway. Hopefully I'll see you next week. If this is the last time I see you, I love you. Remember that. And I'll find you next time, next time around. But if this isn't the last time I see you, then I'll just see you next week. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.